You know how I said in the last video, um, um, well, going to the existence, like, how could everything be with no God? I think I might have just answered myself when I said, you know how cells divide themselves? You know how our body does all it does, itself without no gods? You know how things in our body just fire and does everything themselves. If this is true, if cells can divide themselves like mitosis, meiosis, that's definitely freaky, right? Yeah, think about it. If things can do themselves, what happened if the first thing that that came to existence just did it itself and just evolved over billion years until what happened if that occurred, you know? And I'm pointing this to our existence. Everything that existed had to have been with extraterrestrials, because if cells, DNA, RNA came from space, and and if they influenced us in our brain when we first evolved, um, and they programmed for the cells how to divide, when to divide, give them like a brain with no creator God interfering with that. That's why it's some freaky shit. And that's why nobody can answer, because it's something extraterrestrial, something we don't even fucking know about, something that'll just blow our mind. Think about it as something that, think about the impossible is possible, right? Think about something like that. Think about, maybe I can give you an analogy. Oh, in Indiana Jones, when he was like, the book says, like, walk on this path. His diary, his father's diary says, walk on this path. And he's like, there's just no path. I don't see a path. And then when he walked, it looked like he was walking on air, but there was a hidden path. I don't know if that's a good analogy. In other words, what I'm trying to say is, something that doesn't seem possible to us, not even modern medicine, that we could have even understand, had a process, an extraterrestrial process. Okay, maybe I can make it easier to understand. You know how, like, it's like if teleporting existed. You go from one place to another place. That's impossible to us. That doesn't exist. So in other words, extraterrestrials and had a process um, of that of the had a process in that, like, had a process in how uh, making cells divide, mitosis, meiosis. The only thing about this is, like I said, to find the starting point, we can say it's infinite because it's past a billion years. So this means there's tons of alien species out there, tons of them, tons of um, um, technology and elements that we don't know. So to find the very first starting point would be very tough, and we might not find that first starting point because it'd be like nearly impossible because of past the billion years mark, trillion years mark. There's too many out there. But maybe we could just find at least our existence, how we came to be. At least that's a start. And then but or we can go to these other planets, the ones that have life, like the exoplanets. Maybe we can talk to these species and they can tell us You know, maybe those crazy galactic battle on Warfield. I mean, hell, it could be like Star Trek shit, Star Wars shit. You know, just fucking. You know, and maybe there's like um, a tablet like of how things started for this species, this planet, how things started in this planet. Maybe there's no like one starting point. Maybe there's just multiple starting points. You know what I'm saying? Maybe the aliens themselves don't know the first starting point, or maybe it's it's just well, I guess we can point to this. I guess this would be the easier answer. How we came to existence. And if extraterrestrials had influence of telling us how our cells divide and gave us extraterrestrial influence in our existence to like make our brain have all these neurons. Okay, so those extraterrestrials had and it's a different um, um, different uh, different processes and in other words, it pretty much boils down to things the unknown, and I would have to say is some kind of extraterrestrial because, like I said, our cells divide under the microscope from mitosis, meiosis. I mean, you can see it. It divides into bunch of different patterns, and there's no God hand in there saying do this. It just does it. Our brain digests food. The blood flows in our body. It just does it. So perhaps extraterrestrial had an influence in our existence. Okay, so extraterrestrials had influence in our existence. Okay, the other question is, the much tougher question is, well, how did all existence come into being? So maybe, the best answer I could give would have to be, like I said, like the teleport example. Teleporting is not possible now, but so it's some other chemicals, some other technology, some other world, exactly, that has things we can't imagine or don't understand. And that's where Lawrence Krauss says there's three unknowns: things we know we don't know, things we know we don't know, and things we have no idea that we don't even know is out there. That's the last, the unknown unknown. You know, that's what it boils down to. So maybe instead of one starting point, it's multiple starting points. You know, say like each planet had their own tablet form of how it started or something, but each planet. Or so at least I guess someone just make that point out. It like the cell division. Cell division is an uncaused cause. It just does it. Our body digests foods. It just does it. There's no like God telling us to do it. It just does it. So that's why I'm referring to everything is probably had to do something with extraterrestrials there. That's the point I want to make. It's still very hard to answer, obviously. That's the starting point, how it started. But maybe it's easier than we think, or maybe it's harder than we think. Maybe I'm making it too difficult. I guess just strap in, hold on tight, and get ready to be blown away. Um, but I want to say something about the dark energy, dark matter. That's some freaky stuff because you can't even see it like in the dark, and it's all around us. Everything had to be some kind of freaky extraterrestrial stuff of existence. Not only that, it's just things, the unknown, things we have no idea what it could be. So like the teleport analogy, how did it work? How did teleporting work? You know, or how do we see invisible things make invisible? There's some freaky shit, and I'm thinking that's what it's going to boil down to. And like I said, maybe when we go to these exoplanets, we can communicate with this species, and they're going to give us more insight. Obviously, they would know more, and probably that's even a bigger starting point because we'll at least we'll be blown away. We'll probably even won't understand, but yeah, that's the best I can give. But we're going to learn more. Yeah, just hold on tight. The greatest breakthrough going to be coming, man. It's going to be insane, especially when the NASA warp drive comes. They go to these planets that resemble Earth. It's going to be insane.